Latin music pioneer Tito Puente helped define a style and era known as the Mambo. Behind the great man was a great band. The band plays on, and its legacy thrives in an unlikely place. A tradition passes from master musicians to young performers. Meet the people, hear their stories, share the passion. For the love of the Mambo.
Tito Puente band is the most exciting band by virtue of Tito himself, and his writing and his concept of playing on top of the beat, whereas Machito would play a little relaxed. Tito Puente was on top, was a constant attack. And Tito Rodriguez is sort of like the difference of the two. So each of those bands had their own personality, and each of the guys had a different cowbell and a different conga and different everything, so everything sounded different. Now, today, it all sounds more or less the same. There's no personality today. In order to be able to interpret that, you had to have been yelled at by these guys and have been in those sections and those recordings and those rehearsals and gotten the dirty looks and all this kind of stuff in order to absorb that. And that's our discipline now.
The saxophone player whose place I took in the Tito Puente Orchestra did the Latin flute solos. So I had to learn on the spot how to play the Latin flute solos, and I would just stand up, and sometimes there would be one mic for the sax section, so as not to take the mic away from the other guys, I would stand up and play right in Tito's mic in between him singing coro or not. So I'm playing and I'm feeling him, his timbali pulse and everything like that. And it was just, it's more what I absorbed than like him really telling me anything.
On a certain arrangement, I would do something, and then we were listening to it, and he would tell me, he says, yeah, that line, that thing, he says, I would have written it like that. Look, I'm getting goosebumps. Still missing. So that was, God, that's a supreme compliment. That's something I would have done. The supreme compliment from Tito to another rhythm player was, you don't bother me when you play. And you have to know Tito to know that it sounds like an insult, like saying, oh my God, like a left, faint phrase, that type of thing, You don't bother me when you play. That means, man, you're playing your ass off there. Oh, can I say that?
It's my family. And it's all-inclusive. One of the reasons I got involved in Latin music was because there was so much racial stuff going on in New York at the time. The studio scene was almost all white. The Broadway scene was almost all white. The jazz scene was almost all black, and everybody was kind of pushing at each other. But the Latin scene, if you could figure out how to play in clave, you were in. Didn't make any difference. It's like you take a piece of iron that has no particular magnetic field around it, and a piece of magnetic iron, and you rub them together, and what you get is two magnets. And that happens with the music too, rhythmically.
I can name a bunch of specific things that they told me, but the one thing I got out of it was watching Jose Madera and Johnny Rodriguez just define a pocket, just keeping a groove and maintaining it for a 5-minute tune without effort. He originally told me that I was going to take the solo over Yoro Timbero, and 3 minutes into the tune, right before the drum solo, he looks over at me and he says, eights. I was just like, what? And he repeats himself, he's just said, eights. So we were going to trade eights, and it was basically too fast for me to think about it. I was scared, but then it turned out to be one of the most memorable experiences of my life. There's a picture. Can I get the picture? There's me looking like I stubbed my toe really hard. And then there's Jose Madera looking like the coolest person in the world.
So there's no better way to learn what they're doing than for them to come and actually teach us and just tell us, because we're looking for the information. We were trying to pull the information right out of them, and we couldn't get enough of it.
How do I get to do this for the rest of my life? Would be my main question.
The sound and style of the Tito Puente Orchestra go forward into the 21st century as a vibrant, evolving expression of our American musical landscape. For the love of the Mambo.